So that's pretty cool. I don't know. It's difficult to explain how awesome that is to be next to a test like that. I'd never personally been at a blade off test, but I'd been at other tests where we did diagnostics on these engines, and it's quite thrilling. Probably one of my favorite sounds in the world is hearing these jet engines be pushed up to 100% operation. It's kind of cool to hear all that that thrust being put out the other side. So in addition to the crash test that we just saw, where we had a blade eject itself into the rest of the working jet engine and then make sure that the cowling around it contained it, obviously we have other less explosive crash tests, but of course still just as important. And unfortunately they happen more often, and that's car crash testing. So you can see that in addition to testing materials inside the lab and testing materials inside large testing facilities like those for jet aircraft, we also do testing of cars. So I have a few videos here of cars, a small car going into a higher car or a larger car, and we can see what the effects are of being dynamically crash tested. And again, a pretty neat test to be involved in to smash things together. Again, it's all done in the name of safety, and thankfully there's only crash test dummies inside. If operated properly, nobody gets hurt, and y'all get a chance to go out for a beer afterwards and say how awesome that was. So let's take a look at a few of these as soon as I push some buttons here. So that was a Nissan Leaf. You can obviously see there's all kinds of side impact airbags. These are all the rage these days. They have wet paint on the side of the dummies' faces to see where where the body parts actually connect with the side curtain airbags. Hopefully you haven't experienced this in person. If you have unfortunately experienced this in person, usually this happens so quickly in such a split instant that you really don't get a chance to see all these dynamics that are going on. So we obviously, in the case of airbags, we want to deploy a very soft and supple and deformable material, an air-containing soft little pillow to protect your head from smacking against the not soft, the hard and very stiff material that the rigid frame of the car is made out of. That, of course, is the reason why we had this in the first place. So a higher sports car here, a 2011 Dodge Charger. And this is sort of the same test over and over again. You can see that the Dodge Charger is a little bit heavier machine. You still have all the side impact airbags. It's still a pretty violent T-bone crash here. You can see all the different materials involved, including the windshields. A lot of glass flying, a lot of glass shattering, but perhaps doesn't move as far as the Nissan Leaf did. And here we have a big SUV. Well, not the biggest that we have, but a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Let's see what this guy has to say. So you can see this is the same crash each time. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, I still don't want to be that driver in this T-bone crash, but the Jeep itself is a much larger vehicle. We're still deploying side airbags. You notice the dash in this one sort of stayed intact. It's a bigger machine, but we still want to protect those passengers on the driver's side that are getting T-boned by this machine. And you can see that how important that side impact airbag is. You can see all the tinted glass falling into this passenger's lap as well. That's a pretty violent crash.